What does a UX designer actually do? In this video, we're going to look at the skills and attributes of a UX designer, some of the tasks and responsibilities that they have every day, and we're going to look at some real job ads to see what companies are hiring for when they're looking for UX designers. My name's Dee, and I've worked as a UX designer for over 12 years. I've worked in huge companies and small startups in different countries all around the world. So I'd really love to share my insights with you about what it really feels like to be a UX designer. Before we get started, if you have any questions about any of the skills or attributes mentioned in this video, let us know in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. The kind of person that makes a great UX designer is someone who loves problem solving and has a really inquisitive and curious mind. A UX designer should really love understanding why people do what they do and what's behind their motivations and behavior. So if you really like to understand people and have a desire to make life easier and better, then UX design could be right for you. It's a primarily people-focused role. You'll find yourself working with lots of other teams, with business people, with developers, and with visual designers, conducting research, running workshops, analyzing data, running tests and experiments, and doing a lot of communication with presentations and creating diagrams so that other people can understand the kind of work that you do. And you'll also act as the connection between the users or the customers of your product and the business. You'll be doing things like preparing before research actually happens, writing up interview guidelines and scripts, and creating documents that outline how research should be conducted. As well as that, you'll actually be conducting the research. So interviewing people in person or remotely and taking lots of detailed notes. After research, there's lots of information that's been gathered. So you'll be analyzing that information to understand its meaning. Doing things like looking at spreadsheets and organizing data, using tools to identify trends and patterns in that data, creating reports and presentations to present that complex information to other people. Running workshops is an important skill for a UX designer because you'll need to get groups and teams of people from different areas of the business to do things like generate ideas and understand and align on where the focus should be. You'll also do things like create wireframes, which are detailed structural sketches that illustrate a concept. A wireframe for a digital product is similar to a blueprint for a house. It clearly illustrates how it functions and the core elements of its design. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what a UX designer really does every day. Now let's look at some of the specific skills needed to be a UX designer. What skills does a UX designer need to have? They need to be a really good listener, be able to be empathetic, have an open mind, and be able to understand other people's needs and motivations. It really helps to have a love for solving puzzles and problems. And it's great if you're detail-oriented and really understand how all the pieces of a puzzle fit together. You'll need to use a variety of different tools to do research, create ideas, and present those ideas to others, but all those tools can be learned. Now let's take a closer look at some of those skills and attributes by looking at some real job ads from different companies. We'll look at 3 different examples from a large corporate to a small startup. Before we jump into the job ads, if you're enjoying this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notifications about more weekly videos just like this. Let's start by looking at a job ad for a big corporate, and we've got one here from Tesla. So Tesla is looking for a user experience designer responsible for researching, designing, innovating, prototyping new user experiences. Okay, great. That fits with everything we know. If we look a bit further down here, they've highlighted things like having exceptional design skills, creative problem solving, a great sense of aesthetics. So it looks like this role is more visual than other UX design roles, which we often see there is a big difference when you really dig into UX designer job postings, that some are looking for someone who's really visual, and other job postings will be looking for someone much more on the user research end of the role. So if we look closely into this list of responsibilities, we'll see that they've highlighted research and defining strategy for different consumer segments. They will imagine and conceive, so this is really probably involving lots of sketching, concept sketching, prototyping work to really come up with new ideas and concepts. Develop creative and innovative design. So this is where we can start to see they are looking for someone, a UX designer who has a more visual side as well. So maybe going into some UI design, and define and implement creative solutions. So that word define really highlights that they want someone who will be very good at communicating clearly exactly what the concepts are and why they've been chosen. So taking the insights from the research and being able to clearly communicate and define what the new directions are. If we continue to look down here, we also really see invest in building relationships and trust with stakeholders, peers, and working groups. This is where running workshops and being able to really clearly communicate and present to other groups really comes into play. A UX designer does not work alone and come up with ideas alone. They work with other people to innovate and come up with ideas, and then need to also communicate the reasons behind those new ideas to other parts of the business, other stakeholders, and even to customers as well. Now that we've looked at a big company, let's look at a smaller startup. Here we have a job posting from a company called Gorillas, which is a grocery food delivery service. So let's scroll down and have a look at what the responsibilities are in this role. They've listed here, gather and evaluate user requirements, which means user research, in collaboration with product managers and engineers, which means that you'll be working directly with other people and guiding them through your UX process. You'll need to be very good at communicating with people who aren't UX designers. Then they've also listed conceptualize original ideas that bring simplicity and user friendliness. This means creating sketches, creating digital concepts, creating prototypes that really showcase the ideas that have come out of the research that you did. They've also have listed here usability testing sessions, which is another type of research and testing, working directly with customers to gather feedback, working with UI designers, so again, communicating, collaborating with other parts of the business and other team members. And they've specifically listed communicate your design ideas and prototypes to developers. So this role for this startup sounds like they've really focused on a collaborative team that works really well together. So as a UX designer in this role, you'll need to bring your teammates with you and share that UX design work with the rest of the team. So if I was applying for this job, I would know that my communication and collaboration skills were high on the list of values that they're looking for. If we look down a bit further, they've actually listed the traits that they'd like the person that they hire to have. They said a love of learning and a love of helping others to grow. So this again indicates that as a UX designer, and especially in this role, you'll be working a lot with lots of other people and need to thrive and love that environment. The other things they've listed under traits are a sense of independence and ability to establish structures and processes. So this speaks to the amount of detailed work that you'll need to do and the ability to communicate those details to others. Here is also really important, a passion for tech with very close collaboration with both technical and non-technical stakeholders. So again, this collaboration and communication skills are really key in this kind of role, because other parts of the business need to be on board with the decisions that come out of your UX work. So that was a job description from a small startup. Now let's look at a mid-sized company. So we're looking at a job posting from Carhartt, which is a clothing workwear manufacturer. And this is interesting because almost any company in the world, even if they're not primarily digitally focused, still have need for UX designers. So you know not to limit where you're looking for these kind of roles. If we look closely at this role, the responsibilities that they've listed, so UX and design, and here they have listed for websites, apps, online shops, newsletters, and social media. So even though the primary product of that company is not digital, not software-based, they still have all of these things, websites, apps, online shops, and use social media, and they're the things that they need UX designers for. We can see here that they've listed a lot of the same kinds of things as the other job descriptions, and the second item in the list is working with internal and external teams. So again, this communication and collaboration aspect, which is really high on that list of necessary UX skills, is really important for them as well. Then onto the more technical aspects of what you will be doing. You would be improving the features and develop new products in close contact with relevant stakeholders. So features on those websites, apps, on the online stores, how can people interact better with their website, with their store? So you'll really be creating those features. And they've said here as well, co-create page and template designs for mobile and desktop. So you can see here, you probably will be doing a lot of wireframing, a lot of concept designs, a lot of creating the structure of how their website looks, the structure of how their pages work. When people will click on their website and go to another page, what will that page look like? How many pages are there? What's the structure of all of the pages in their website? So I know if I would be applying for this job, I would be doing a lot of detailed, more technical UX work, creating sitemaps and hierarchies of all the pages in their website and how they fit together and flow together and how a user would step through them. So I can see from this job posting that this is a more detailed technical UX designer role. And looking at the profile of the person that they're trying to hire, we can see, again, they've stated they want someone who is communicative and an adaptive team player. So knowing you'll be working with lots of other people and lots of other teams, which is very normal for a UX designer, and someone who has a hands-on mentality, which indicates that there's lots of detailed work and they'll need someone to dive right in and take on that work. They're looking for someone who's got experience in digital and UX, and they're stating this because there are other types of UX designers that don't do digital work. And they also need someone who understands the technical aspects of designing for web. So they won't be expecting you to know how to do web design, how to write the code to design a web page, but they want someone who knows how to speak the language of developers, because this person will be working with developers, it sounds like, every day and collaborate all the time between the development team understanding what the UX designer is doing and the UX designer understanding how the developers work and what they need. Okay, so that was a job description from Carhartt, which is a mid-sized clothing company. So hopefully you can see that some of the things we've mentioned earlier in this video, the skills and attributes and qualities that you need to have as a UX designer, will come up again and again in any UX designer job descriptions you look at online. So hopefully this video has given you a clear idea of what a UX designer actually does every day, and some of the important skills and attributes that you'll need to have if you want to apply for a job as a UX designer. So if this sounds interesting to you and you're thinking about becoming a UX designer, CareerFoundry has a great free short course that you can access in the link below. It's 6 daily lessons that take 15 minutes to complete, and it'll give you a much better idea if UX design is right for you. If you have any questions about any of the skills or responsibilities of a UX designer that I've mentioned in this video, please ask a question in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the CareerFoundry channel and hit that bell so that you can get more notifications about videos just like this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you again soon.
It was good. I was like, did she make a mistake?
It's like,
At the end. And then, yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, cool.
it's starting. Are you ready, guys? Are you ready for today?
10 minutes.
Yeah. It's like, I want to say, ask me questions.
It always seems to end. Keep going, keep going.
Oh, right. Okay.